Okay, so this has been a long time coming for me to speak about. I'm trying to find the right words. It's going to be one of them videos where I'm not editing, I'm not doing my usual intro. You know, if you want to support me, all that jazz, you know what to do. Hit subscribe, all my stuff's below. But it's a sort of serious topic, this. I've spoke recently about it's important to stay grounded on a spiritual journey. And it very much is, regardless of your journey. Very important to stay grounded, to remember that you're human still. You've got a human life to live and you've got to stay sane, all right? But spiritual journeys for all of us in our own unique ways, they are life-changing. We can receive downloads, receive information, knowledge, knowing that can't be found in a book, that can't be found any other way than living the damn thing. And that's what's been happening with me, and that's why I share things on YouTube, to be honest, to help other people, to help you know you're not alone, because it's easy to think, gosh, I have lost the plot here. It's easy to slip into a psychotic break. It can happen to anyone, even the strongest of people. So this is why I share, okay? So what I'm going to be sharing, I suppose, is UPG, which is unverified personal gnosis. However, I think it's becoming verified, given my research. There are other occultists that have spoke on this. There are other books and theories from even before I was born. There's a book on this shelf that I got recently, an essay someone in the Hermetic Order wrote on this very topic. There is ancient history on this very topic, but maybe they aren't piecing it together the way I am, but I'm going to piece it together for you guys. So I have videos on the channel explaining what and who I think deities are. You're free to have your own opinions, obviously. Yeah. But what I think they are is archetypal energy. So even if you think they're just a product of the mind, it's still an archetype. It's like what Carl Jung studied. And I've been reading the Red Book as well. You know, the human mind is a complex, fascinating thing. So deities are archetypes, even if it is just a product of your mind. But I don't think they are just a product of your mind. I do see them as their own beings that manifest with different personalities for what we need as a person. Now, in ancient times, especially like a pagan deity in ancient times, they've got several epithets. They would have different aspects and sides to them, because people weren't as connected as we are these days. They didn't have all this worldly knowledge the same way we do. So deities filled many roles for many different things and, yeah, different aspects to them. Hecate, which I will be getting into, is one that has literally hundreds of aspects to her. I mean, using Hecate as an example, she's got aspects to her that are, you know, she's a mother, she is a love goddess, she is a fertility goddess, she is a primal goddess, she is a goddess of hell, she is a goddess that embodies the dead. She's so many different things, so many different things. So depending on what you need in your life, you will call on her in a different way and maybe under different names too. But in modern times, someone might call on Hecate, someone else, they may call on Ereshkigal, or they may call on, why is the names escaping me right now? Isis, I don't know. So many different things, okay? So because we are so connected, we've got access to different cultures, different time periods of history, and it's a minefield, it's complex. Modern day deity work really is a minefield, but all in all, it's very personal to you. And you can have your personal beliefs. There are people this day and age that still believe that deities are their own separate beings and that's that. And fair enough. You can believe that. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but this is what I've come to realise. So I've made videos as well about how the goddesses are kind of all one and the same. And not just the goddesses, all of divinity. And I'm not saying that in a Christian Abrahamic way, because I think personally, then this is again my opinion, mainstream religion has took that concept and bastardized it and used it for manipulation, to be quite frank. I don't jive with that personally. Even when it comes to Christianity, I kind of see it as its own pantheon. I see maybe Yahweh could be the king god, and the different angels. I mean, you've got angels of love, angels of like messengers, like Gabriel would be Hermes, and Michael would be like a warrior, maybe Aries or something. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So even that's a pantheon archetypal energy in itself. So I don't agree with this monotheism concept in the way of Abrahamic traditions. So I want to get that out there, because I know a lot of people will just shit on this belief, shit on what I've got to say, from the back of the other videos I've made on the topic. They're assuming that I'm meaning it in some monotheistic kind of way, and I'm not. And I'm not dismissing, different cultures, the deities, the gods, goddesses that I have met do manifest as their own beings, and they are their own autonomous beings, with their own personalities, etc. But there are also archetypes, and they are also all connected. And recent discoveries in my own personal spiritual path have helped me see that. So, going through the Cliff-Oath, Lilith was my main guide through that. Hecate led me to Lilith in the first place, anyways, years and years ago. But I noticed they work in tandem a lot. Different, respect each other, but they work in tandem. They're both dark goddesses. Lilith herself has many sides to her. Lilith is so complex, and I'm speaking more about her on the channel as well. Lilith has sisters that you could say are aspects of her. Lilith has children you could say are aspects of her. So, like a Grat, for example, you could say that's an aspect of Lilith, but she's also her separate autonomous being. Namah, the same. Esheth, the same. Hecate has sides to her that are similar to Lilith, even though they're different. Hecate can be this seductress, this lover energy, the same way Lilith can be. Lilith can be very nurturing, kind, caring woman. She can also be very baneful, very harsh when she needs to be, just like Hecate can be. And Lilith comes from a time that predates Judaism. She comes from Mesopotamia, Sumeria, Acadia, Babylon. There are many different goddesses that she is linked with. One such goddess is Inanna Ishtar. And she herself, Inanna Ishtar, was the fertility love goddess of the ancient times. But what we know of those times, depending on where you lived, you may have had a different deity that you would worship for such things. You may have interacted with Inanna or Ishtar's messengers, so to speak. They were so complex in their own way that they are many things. Then Inanna's sister, Ereshkigal, underworld goddess, who is also linked with Hecate and named as Hecate in the Greek magical papyri, and that link has already been established. You could drill down into this in so many ways. You could even go one step further and add the masculine into this. There are energies of Venus that are linked with Hecate. For example, Phosphorus is the light bringer, the morning star. That is also Lucifer. They are linked in that way. You could link it even further. If you dig into mythologies of deities, the masculine, the feminine, all of it is linked together, okay? I do strongly feel our creator is feminine, only because the feminine births life. Even females in every species are the ones that create the life. We, because I'm a woman, can create life in that regard. So it would make sense that our creator is female. If you look at Gnosticism, the creator is female. There is so many theories on this, and that's why in the monotheistic sense of Abrahamic religion, I don't agree with the patriarchy. They wrote out the feminine, they demonized the feminine. Asherah was Yahweh's wife, and in some of the first scriptures to do with the Bible written out. Mary Magdalene, she was an equal to the other apostles, disciples, whatever you want to call them. Church called her a prostitute, demonized her. So therefore, the female is everything in that regard. We need the male, yes, we need that spark. The male, I feel, holds the spark. Hence the light bringer, hence Lucifer, Phosphorus. But without the female, we wouldn't exist. But what is the female? It's a primordial energy. It is beyond the guise of a goddess of a human form. This is where it gets... The creator is a dragon, right? I'm just spat it out like that. The great dragon. Now, this energy could manifest as a literal dragon. It could look like that, should you wish it. But when we say dragon, it's draconic, it's powerful. Draconic energy is knowledge. Draconic energy is throughout time and history the powerful archetype of a time that came before. Some people say dragons in different myths were like a way of explaining the dinosaurs. It's whatever, you can think that. But ultimately, a dragon, a serpent and a dragon, I use them interchangeably, was originally fertility, knowledge and life. The symbolism of the Orphic egg is a good example of that. The serpent was demonized as well, just like the female in mainstream religion. The dragon is Hecate. The dragon is female. The dragon is everything. It's a hive mind, you could say. All divinity, light, dark, everything links to it. When you look at other main goddesses, this is why I mentioned all these names, Isis is popping in my head. Isis was worshipped with dogs in some areas as well. Like the symbolism, if you go into it so deep, they all are connected. And it's because they are the great dragon, all of them. And we say dragon, not to say scaly friend, lizard, although that's a conspiracy theory about the lizard brain and reptilians. I'm not going into all of that. I don't know how I feel about that. But all I can say right now is that they are everything. And I love them all very much. The great mother dragon that lives in the void. Now, when you go through the tree of life or the tree of death, the Jewish mystics, the Hermetic mystics were onto something. Outside of the creation, so the trees are the map of the universe, the microcosm, the macrocosm. Each sphere on the tree is represented by planetary energy for a reason, because that is what we understand as humans. That is in our scope of existence. We understand our universe. Even back in the 1500s when this was coined, they understood the planets and mapped out the stars. The ancients did that as well. So from our understanding, that is the universe kind of thing. And anything outside of that is a mystery. It's nothingness. It's creation. It's chaos. Chaos is another name for this great dragon. When you go through this tree, either side, the hope is enlightenment, knowledge, being one with God, whatever your belief is. You go through deep realizations. That's why there's something called the abyss, which is different to the void. The abyss is nothingness, but it's negative it's negative energy in a positive way. The abyss strips you of falsehoods. The abyss helps you open your eyes to the realization. But once you have the realization of, wow, there's more to life kind of thing, you understand better the chaos of creation. And the void is the chaos of creation. And the great dragon, whatever you want to call it, the serpent, lives within that. And that is Hecate. That is Hecate, that is Isis, that is Inanna, that is Ishtar, that is Lilith, that is Babylon, that is Mother, that is chaos, that is deities. They are helping us from this creation space, helping us from there to achieve enlightenment, to better ourselves, to guide us on our spiritual journey. This is just what she's shown me, and I think she's led me to. And I feel like it's time to tell you guys, it's time for more people to understand this in their own way. There are others. I found the Hermetics were talking about it, the Hermetic Order was talking about it. Other writers of the Qliphoth, when they write about the Qliphoth, talk about the black serpent. It is a form of this great dragon energy. It's not light or dark. It's not one or the other. It's in everything. It really is. If you look into Kabbalah, there is a serpent in the middle pillar. Yeah, that's what it is. The Kundalini that we all have, it's part of that too. It is not like some sort of Pokemon thing. So I say that because I delved into dragon magic myself a year or two into my practice. I looked up DJ Conway's books, and DJ Conway, she wrote a lot of different books about different forms of paganism, and she was very, let's say, Wiccan inspired. I don't think she was Wiccan, but it was that kind of vibe, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. But she had a certain way of talking about dragons. And I met dragon energy. I met my own dragons, because you can have guardian dragons. There are other draconic energies, just like there's the fae, there's elemental energies, there are non-human spirits still, and there is draconic energy out there, different forms of dragons, there is. But the great dragon is everything. That's what the dragon is. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I went down the DJ Conway route many years ago, and it just didn't resonate with me. I just stopped, and I didn't fully understand until recently again, until going through more initiations. And this is the thing, if you are spiritual, if you are on any path, there is a lot you learn through experience. And that's why I said you need to stay grounded. You really do. We're humans, because you could get lost in the source. If I wasn't grounded, I could be like, I am a dragon. Oh my God. No, I'm human. But we're all part of a whole. And the whole is draconic. draconic in energy. And that's not a bad thing. It's been demonized over the years. And that's that. That's what I wanted to share. I hope this has made sense, because I didn't script it. I just asked them to help me find the words, but I felt like this is what they wanted me to say. And I've said it, so I hope I've done them justice. The more I learn, the more I'll share. I've got a lot to share. And yeah, if you liked it, hit subscribe. Check out the channel for other videos. I talk about a lot of different things. And yeah, until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.